How to Be an Alien by George Mikes. Part 2, Chapter 23. British Newspapers. The fact. There was some trouble on the Pacific island of Sharamag. A group of 10 English and 2 American soldiers went to the island with Captain LLITW Tilbury. After a short fight against the Buburuk people, they took 217 Buburuk prisoners, burned 2 large oil refineries, and put an end to the trouble. They returned to their ship. How do the British newspapers tell the story? Every newspaper tells it differently. The Time, one of Britain's greatest, most famous newspapers. It is important to understand that this fight was important, but it was not very important. The Buburuk people were not easy to fight, but at the same time they were not difficult to fight. We are not sure of the number of Buburuk prisoners, but we think it is more than 216, but not more than 218. In Parliament, a man from the government said, I can give this information about the Sharamag oil refineries. In the first half of the year, the army and most of, but not all, the Royal Air Force burned 1/2 more than 3 times the oil that the army burned in the same months of last year. This is 7.5 times more than the 250s that they burned 2 years ago, and 3/4 more than 12 times 1/6 that they burned 3 years ago. Someone jumped to his feet and asked if the government knew that the British people were worried and angry because the army went into Sharamag but not into Raganak. The government speaker said, I have nothing to say about that, sir. I said everything when I spoke on 2nd August 1892. Evening Standard, a London evening newspaper. The most interesting this about the fight on Sharamag is Reggie Tilbury. He is the 5th son of the Earl of Bayswater. He went to Oxford University and is good at several sports. When I talked to his wife, Lady Clarice, the daughter of Lord Ellison, today she wore a black suit and a small black and yellow hat. She said, Reggie was always very interested in war. Later she said, it was very clever of him, wasn't it? Perhaps you decide to write a letter to the Times about all this. Sir, about the fight on Sharamag. The great English writer John Flett lived on Sharamag in 1693. Then he was there, he wrote his famous book, The Fish. Yours, etc. The next day you will see this answer. Sir, I'm very pleased Mr. wrote about John Flett's book, The Fish. I write to tell you that many people like Mr. think John Flett wrote The Fish in 1693. He started the book in 1693, but he only finished it in 1694. If you write for an American newspaper, you just say this. The Oklahoma Sun. Americans win the war in the Pacific Ocean.